think with the immunity, the immunity issue, if the Supreme Court rules for him, I guess it's going to have to go back to the judge to see if that's going to apply in a state conviction or if that would have to be federal. I guess it would depend on what the Supreme Court's ruling was before we really knew if it was going to apply to this.
Stand by.
While prison time is a possibility, Polano, who you just heard from, doesn't expect Trump will actually be sentenced to any time.
News 10 NBC on the radio. Weekdays at 5 a.m., noon, 5, 6, and 11 on the WYSL stations.
Mira la izquierda, mira la derecha. ¿Qué ves? ¿Dónde estás? In a world that seems to change daily, what will you do next? Welcome to the Next Steps Show with Peter Vasquez, a starting point for discussion y un poco de dirección. Bienvenidos, buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? What's up, mi amigos y amigas, familias, and those that I would love to be familias with. I'm so glad we're hanging out again for, the last day of the week. It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're preparing for a sunny weekend. There's festivals. There's all sorts of stuff going on this weekend, Señor Voz de Libertad.
Yeah, let's kick off June in big style.
I agree. ¿Cómo estás?
Good, thanks.
So hey, in case you're not on Facebook yet, I think I did this right. So unless I'm like on Facebook, but I'm really not, I don't know. But it looks like I am. So ladies and gentlemen, give me your feedback. I'd like to know how this is working.
Maybe Bob in the back room there, Bobby D.
Will do.
Yeah, he'll look it up.
He'll take a look. I appreciate that. You know, I'll tell you, Jose Pio, the politically correcting guys, you inspired me to turn this Kramer on. You know, hey, Bob, when Jose said, when I introduced him, remember when I had him on the show, he's like, yeah, I'm what did he say? I'm the pretty Puerto Rican or something along those lines.
The pretty Puerto Rican.
And I was thinking, I was watching one of his video things, and I'm like, man, he is kind of pretty. So I figured he can't be the only pretty one on the radio.
Especially when he wears that little off-the-shoulder number, the slinky one.
Yeah, that is true. So Bob, I've been, I don't want to say I've been avoiding. I just, I figured why talk about this presidential race? I've got my own stuff going on. But man, just kind of seeing what's going on, I thought.
The conviction from hell?
Yeah, pretty much. And you know what? The thing is, I thought it would be unbecoming of me to not address this issue on the show today.
Well, it is your show, so by all means.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Señor Voz de Libertad. However, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk a little bit about what happened yesterday. I'm going to stick to the facts as we know it. I'm going to stick to the facts as it's presented. I'd love your opinion on some of this. 346-3000. Hopefully here in the near future, we'll be able to get some legal experts on, or at least some people that kind of understand what happened from a legal perspective here in the Next Step Show, right? But today, let's just kind of summarize. I mean, have you been following it, Bob?
Well, yeah.
I mean, all the way through. See, I kind of stood away because I figured.
Kind of important.
Very much so. I mean, I've read the highlights. I haven't watched any of the actual things that happened in court. Was there anything spectacular that's not reported in the news that you could share with us? Because I was really hoping not to talk about this, but we got to, because this is important.
Well, spectacular, no, because of course cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, so you don't get the direct eyewitness, content. So I didn't miss anything. But well, I mean, you missed this much, and that is a lot of really good commentary, depending. The usual pattern is what's been in effect here throughout this trial since April 21st, and that is everybody watches the cable channel that validates their political convictions.
Yes.
So all the lefties are all glued to MSNBC and CNN and the alphabet networks. And everybody else is watching Fox and OAN and
the Sly networks.
Yeah, Fox. Sly Fox. I got that. I see what you did there. But it's been fascinating, and it's distressing on several levels. Mm-hmm. You look at the commentators, for example, who are providing context on Fox. These are not Republicans, and they are not conservatives. Jonathan Turley, the law professor, who is, would never vote for Trump, mm-hmm. and Alan Dershowitz, who, thought that Trump was one of the worst things that could happen to the country are standing up and saying this is a travesty. It's a terrible commentary on the criminal justice system generally, and particularly on New York State.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you look at this situation. First of all, the talk about forum shopping, which is a term that lawyers know, where you try to find a court that's going to give you the desired outcomes. This is the ultimate forum shopping case.
Yes.
This is the court. It took place in a district where 15% of people voted for Trump in the last election. 85% voted for Biden. That's your jury pool, first of all. Yep. Then they found this doctrinaire, leftist, activist judge who sees no shame in being reversed, which he almost certainly will be when this case winds its way through the appellate process.
And every expert is saying that, by the way.
Yes, in every left and right, Democrat and Republican are saying, stands a very strong case of a chance of being reversed because of all the reversible error that took place from beginning to end, multiple layers of it, as Jonathan Turley says. So it's kind of like one of those things where you don't even know where to start. So that's a travesty of justice. The jury instructions were impossible to understand for any sentient human being, and were internally conflicting. And we could go on and on and on about this. I mean, you can pick up this commentary wherever you want to. Absolutely. But it's a terrible thing. The sentencing is slated for July 11th. I would not be surprised if Donald Trump is sentenced to jail.
4 days before the what is it called, the convention?
Yeah, the Republican convention, because Marshawn doesn't care.
No,
he doesn't care what he looks like. He doesn't care about being reversed. He doesn't care about his legal career. What he's trying to do here is he's trying to create a rosy, media-rich future for himself as a commentator on one of the left networks, book rights. Certainly anything that he writes is going to be a big seller.
Possible appointment to the Supreme Court of the United States.
When the Democrats are in power, I suppose. God help us if that were to happen. But
listen, I find it difficult to believe that a judge would go to that extent to this judge that this judge did without there being something equally large in addition to increased income.
Well, his daughter is getting paid by the DNC.
She is, but didn't she also raise like a lot of money for terrorists? For Russia, at least?
For terrorists? I don't specifically know about that.
I'm speculating. She did raise a lot of money, though.
There is a pecuniary interest in this proceeding. Let's put it that way.
Very much
and it's benefiting to his daughter to the tune of millions of dollars.
Yep.
So this is a corrupt judge. He's an ideological judge. And he also is in pursuit of an agenda, which has nothing to do with the truth, has nothing to do with justice, has nothing to do with his actual job.
No.
And I think that we're going to find a lot of unsavory things out as this story unfolds. Kind
of like we always do when they've been trying to pull this. I mean, look at what we're finding out about COVID. And Bob, thank you so very much for sharing that so very much. I like that. I'm very kind, I was told. But thank you for sharing that, Bob. And I do kind of pay attention, and I have seen some of the commentary that's out there. I don't think as extensive as you have because, you're way busy, but you do the morning news. You got to know these things, right? But I wanted you to share some of what you knew and some of what you know, mostly because I want to have this conversation about absolute power corrupts absolutely, but I want it to be voided, or at least I want our listeners to understand that this show isn't some plug for Trump, right? This isn't some plug for the guy who's running for president. This is a plug for what now seems to be almost parallel to the things that we saw happening in third world countries. We've heard that term term before. We had Luis here who saw the regime change in Cuba. And the thing is, see, and this is kind of what we're going to talk about here.
Luis
today.
has got to be going nuts today.
He absolutely is. Luis Martinez, if you're listening, give us a call, 346-3000. Ladies and gentlemen, give us a call, 346-3000, because, see, this case now goes well beyond what we're seeing on TV or not seeing on TV, because this has nothing to do with Trump. But let's look at what, kind of like a little overview of these legal challenges, ladies and gentlemen, right? Because the commentary that Señor Voz de Libertad is talking about, right, they are coming from the left and right? It's important for us to see it. So I'm going to highlight this for you. Then we're going to show you why this is happening. Because, see, here in the Next Step show, it's not enough for me to just sit here and complain. It's not enough for me to just sit here and say, hey, this person is being treated unfair. I want to show you why, so that you can be educated, so that emotional intelligence and that discernment is there. So last night, right, in Manhattan, Trump was formally charged or formally convicted, of 34 counts of what they're saying is falsifying business records. Now, check this out. Right, and going through what I've read in preparation for this show, Bob, it does appear that Trump's camp agreed that there was $130,000 that was paid to what's her name, Stormy Daniels, right? And that but the thing is, listen, if that's the worst that somebody did, you know what? You fine him and move on. But what they're trying to say is that he did this in order to cover up, or in order to enhance his chances of winning in 2016, right? Trump's attorneys say, wait a minute, this wasn't an attempt to do anything other than protect a personal situation that ain't got to do with anybody else's business. Right. And the thing is, listen, when, cause some of the other charges that they have, right? What is it? The
falsifying business records.
Right. But the other charges, the ones that they're hitting him with in North Carolina and Florida,
the
ones
other
that
cases.
The other cases, because he's got a total of 4 cases going on, right? So he's got this one that he was just convicted on 34 counts. And if you look at the 34 counts, they are exactly that. They're 34 documents that were submitted into evidence that the judge, and very much by his lead, the jury pool looked at it and said, yes, he committed a crime.
Let me just jump in here, too, because so people need to understand this. 34 counts, right, ladies and gentlemen? So you would think from that's 34 crimes. So first of all, an NDA is not a crime. Nope. And making payments, and calling them legal expenses is not a crime.
Unethical, maybe, at best.
It's not even that. What else are you going to call it?
Well, you know what?
Let me finish. So you got the attorney's name, senior moment here. Cohen. Thank you, Michael Cohen. So what he did, the story is that he went out and got a mortgage, a home equity mortgage on his house to raise $130,000 to pay Stormy Daniels. And then Trump reimbursed him with various different checks. So over the course of a year, Cohen got monthly checks from Donald Trump. Okay? It's like the easy payment plan.
Yep.
12 checks, 1 year. That's 12 of the crimes, ladies and gentlemen. That's 12 of the 34 counts.
Yep. Same
deal. It's just that 34 checks were written. So that's being counted as 34 separate and distinct crimes. We got to go to break here. And I know you said this isn't a pro-Trump show, but I thought it'd be appropriate to bump out with us.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Next Step show with your conservative New Yorker. And listen, even though this isn't a pro-Trump show per se, listen, if it ain't Trump, it's going to be Biden. You make that decision.
Listeners, it'll be you.
It'll be you at the end, especially when you choose the buffoon that's there now. We'll be right back into conservative New Yorker right here in the WYSL station.
Just my opinion. The Democrats know how to steal. Come on, man, here's the deal. Trump won and you know it. Trump won and you know it. The fake news will never show it. 'Cause it's true. Trump won and you know it.
In the Rochester and Finger Lakes region, one name stands above all others for real estate appraisal and advice.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
This full-service real estate appraisal company can appraise and advise on purchase and sales decisions, mortgage finance feasibility, estate, matrimonial, partnership buyouts, litigation, and more for any type of property, both residential and commercial. Ryan Murphy was founded almost 40 years ago. All of our highly trained staff members have at least 20 years of experience. All our appraisers are either New York State certified general or residential real estate appraisers.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
Start here. RYNNEMurphy.com.
For the last couple of years, Joe Robach has been telling you about Flower City Collision in Henrietta, saying that it was started by a veteran along with his son, Zach. Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and I am that veteran. I want to thank the WYSL listeners for their support over the last couple of years. During those years, not only have I experienced the gratification of providing you the best repairs and customer service, it has also allowed me the opportunity to see my son develop as a young professional. So remember, Flower City Collision for your collision repair needs. And thank you for supporting our locally owned family business.
Youth for Christ Rochester is growing. With the help from the John R. Wegman Foundation, we're adding Saturday mornings back to basketball, while the Saunders Foundation brings back skills and drills for the spring and summer. Our middle school girls program will be starting in a second school this fall. Watch for a new name change for that program, but we need your help. Make a one-time gift of $300 or a monthly gift of $25 to sponsor a kid for a year. Go to yfcrochester.org/donate.
Now that the good weather's back, you'll want to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape, whether it's for the daily commute you're planning. For quality, affordable vehicle service, rely on Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge Road. Rock Auto has what your car, truck, or SUV needs. Oil change, brake service, suspension, alignments, exhaust, air conditioning, and tires. Check their Google reviews as one of Rochester's best for customer satisfaction. Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge, just east of Mount Reed, 434-5010.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the WYSL stations.
And Next Steps is brought to you by Rock Auto Service, Westridge Road near Mount Reed, SadwickForCongress.com, and the real estate appraisal firm of Ryan Murphy and Associates. Here's Peter.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and our sponsors. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. And ladies and gentlemen, 346-3000. Give us a call. Join the conversation. I really want your opinion on this and if you have any facts, because I think it's important that we look at this for what it is. Now, let me be clear. As I said before break, if it ain't Trump, it's Biden. And look, I'll call it whatever you want, okay? But there's people that are losing their marbles because of this buffoon that's in the White House, in addition to losing their funds and everything else. Now, let me say something here, because I am in the middle of a race, right? And some people are going to say, and I can just imagine that my opponent's going to totally try to beat me up on this, but let's understand something, right? We all have our opinions, we all have our political views, but when it comes to doing our job, we need to do it ethically, and we need to do it right, and we need to do it devoid of all political ideology. And that's my point. See, ladies and gentlemen, on November 5th, I'm asking you to vote, and in early voting for me as the county clerk, Peter Vasquez, not Peter Vasquez, the Republican, and you'll have two lines to vote for me on. Right? So that's all I'm asking. Unfortunately, in today's world and how bad things have gotten as far as the political ideology and what runs things, I think that this conviction last night kind of shows that. Here, let me tell you something, right? In a recent poll, in a public opinion poll, right, in regards to the Manhattan case, it indicates that 50% of Americans believe that Trump is guilty in Manhattan. Now, that sounds pretty wild, doesn't it? 50%. Oh, my gosh, that's great. But this is where political ideology makes a difference, right? The partisan divide in that survey, in that thought, equals this: 86% Democrat versus 14% Republicans. Now, again, if you're looking at this through emotional intelligence, through discernment, is 50% of Americans really believing that Trump is guilty, or is this more trickery where they take statistics to show you what it is that they want you to see, very similar to what you mentioned earlier? Yeah, Bob?
Well, there's lies, there's damnable lies, and then there's statistics. And so, look, I mean, pick the numbers that work for you, I guess. What can I tell you?
And whatever station you want to listen to. I mean, listen, I think WYSL is the most honest and straightforward radio station in New York State and everywhere, right? But yet people listen to other radio shows in this area that make no sense to me.
Well, everybody's got to understand something here. We are not a news outlet at WYSL. We're not, this is not a news station. And we are unabashedly we have a lot of commentary on the station, which favors a certain value set, which we think is critical to the survival of the country, and also to having an orderly society and a world where your kids are going to thrive and they're going to raise families and have successful lives, as all of us have had. We're adamantly in favor of that. We support that, and we promote that. So I guess, does that mean that we are completely unbiased and even-handed? No, I don't think it does, because we've played this moral equivalency game now for way too long.
Very much.
And this is how we've gotten into the jam that we're in now. All value systems are not equivalent. They're not equally valid.
And that's my point. And see, the thing is this, though, when your value system is focused and grounded on a political ideology, and listen, it could be a deep-rooted on some religious ideology. We see that coming from the Middle East, right? That's why we're under attack in a lot of these places. That's why people ramp bombs on themselves and walk into crowded areas and blow up, Bob.
Or worse, they send their kids to do that.
They do. And then what ends up happening, right, is they'll do things, because let's not forget, back in 2016, there was proof that Hillary Clinton had a big issue, not just some documents at her, at her home, wherever she lives, but also on a hard drive, and she even tried destroying it.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is really the whole intent of what I'm trying to talk about today, right? Because these are the things that we need to bring to light, and the things that you should be fighting for. Now, Trump has three more cases that he has to get through, right? He's got the classified document case in Florida that I just mentioned, but if they're going to go and charge him for that, you know what? If you're not demanding that Hillary Clinton is sitting in another courtroom facing the same charges, then you too are governed by political ideology, right? He's facing federal charges for allegedly conspiring to derail peaceful transfer of power. Why? Because people decided that they wanted to go and they wanted to stand at the Capitol. And Bob, if you remember, almost a year, or maybe a little more than a year now, we had Nick Searcy in here, right? A credible individual here in America who's established himself as a ethical individual in Hollywood, of all places, and did it without without fear of being of retribution, right? But this guy showed documentation that there were actually, and I say they, I mean people that worked in the Capitol, if I'm not mistaken, people from Antifa, what they called Antifa, taking out signs, officers inviting people into the Congress, but yet that has not been discussed or talked about in any way, shape, or form. And ladies and gentlemen, that is governed again by political ideology.
And once again, the entire case is based on rumor and innuendo, because you look at what Donald Trump said prior to this January 6th insurrection, which it was not. He didn't say anything that was inciting a riot or trying to impede the change of power in Washington.
And that's not even a matter of opinion. That's a matter of fact.
Yes.
No one has been able to produce. We had a caller, I think, during that time once that said, "Oh, those videos were debunked." But I've searched
debunk a video
and down. That beats the heck out of me. I'm sure these progressive have a way to debunk the video, or maybe create their own and say that one's the truth.
Well, now we got AI, but this was before that.
This is definitely before then. But 50% of Americans that say they believe Trump, and 86% of that 50% is Democrats. Again, I don't understand why more people aren't angry today. Do you know that some of the local news outlets, not commentary, news outlets, have been applauding this like it's the best thing that ever happened to this country, when in fact, all American flags should be flown upside down today, since last night.
Not a bad idea. You don't have to be a Supreme Court justice. Be careful. Don't get in trouble.
Be careful. And on those Supreme Court justices, again, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about absolute power and how it corrupts you in a quick second. But the thing is this. I believe those judges, the two justices that we talked about, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, they have spouses and families that are entitled to their American rights. God, country, family. They didn't swear off anything.
Real quick before we go to break, you understand what that's all about?
Of course.
They're just trying to intimidate the justices because this could be a direct appeal to SCOTUS from Trump about this abortion, I want to call it. But we are the abortion state. Why not?
We are. But also check this out. The two wives, again, another attack on freedom and another attack on women, because that's what they are. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Sí, que bonita bandera, not just the Puertorriqueño flag, pero that flag with the 50 stars and the 13 stripes, that is our America. Ladies and gentlemen, soy tu conservative New Yorker, aquí con la voz de Libertad, 346-3000. Regresos. Be right back.
Welcome, Geneva.
WYSL.
No, it's okay.
Talk station for great conservative, all-American programming.
Here's the new NBC forecast on WYSL. Overnight tonight, another cool and comfortable night expected. Low temperature 49 with mainly clear skies. Then as we go into Saturday, high temperature 79 is expected with more sunshine on the way. But as we go into Saturday night, we'll see clouds increase slightly with the opportunity for a passing shower late. But most of the night will be on the dry side, below 56. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Alex Fieldfeld on your WYSL station.
Red Wings Radio.
The Insider Report with Josh Wetzel, brought to you by Monroe County Republicans. Be sure to register and vote, and bring friends and family with you to the polls.
DJ Hurst pitched 5 1/3 dominant innings for the Wings, and the Red Wings banged out 12 hits and doubling up St. Paul 6-3 Thursday afternoon. The Red Wings lefty Hurst in 5 1/3 innings struck out a season-high 10, allowed only 2 hits and 1 run. Meanwhile, the Red Wings got 3 hits from Eric Mejia and Jackson Clough at the bottom of the lineup. And with the victory over St. Paul, they've evened this series at 2 games apiece. The Wings are also back up to 2 games over 500 at 27-25 on the year. Fun mound matchup for the Wings and the Saints on Friday. Jackson Rutledge takes the hill for the Red Wings against hard-throwing right-hander Louis Varland for the St. Paul Saints. This is Josh Wetzel for the WYSL stations.
With critical races on the ballot this year, we have an opportunity to send a message that we want change. Here are 3 things that you can do today to ensure that we are set up for success this fall. Make sure you are registered to vote at your current address. Get out and support our local candidates, and subscribe on our website to receive the latest news this election season. Visit monroegop.com/vote to learn more. Paid for by the Monroe County Republican Committee.
Spring savings and selection are popping up everywhere at Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96 in Victor. Try these deals. A 24 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cab 4x4 pickup.
Well, I just picked them up in here and told them I'll put them after Lorraine, so whatever. I can do it in here.
7 months with $46.97 down. Step lease loyalty. A 24 Dodge Hornet SUV in gray is $229 a month for 24 months. $59.44 down. Must be competitive brand owner or lessee. The 24 Jeep Wrangler 4xe convertible is just $369 a month for 36 months with $69.66 down. All lease deals require first payment. DMV taxes and fees due at signing. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairfield, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. The selection's great, and they're ready with your deal. It's the most beautiful new vehicle sales and service dealership in the area. Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96, just east of Victor.
If you are dealing with chronic pain, Dr. Chirag Patel is now available in the Southern Tier. Serving Noyes, Jones, and St. James hospitals, Dr. Patel is an experienced pain management specialist. He offers steroid injections and many other procedures and has a special interest in the lumbar and cervical spine. Don't let chronic pain impact your quality of life. Ask your doctor for a referral or call 585-243-0150.
Now that the good weather's back, you'll want to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape, whether it's for the daily commute or that vacation you're planning. For quality, affordable vehicle service, rely on Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge Road. Rock Auto has what your car, truck, or SUV needs. Oil change, brake service, suspension, alignments, exhaust, air conditioning, and tires. Check their Google reviews as one of Rochester's best for customer satisfaction. Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge, just east of Mount Reed, 434-5010.
With hot, sticky weather around the corner, will your old AC survive another sweltering summer? Installing a new air conditioner provides a great return on your investment. Beyond dollars and cents, it's about energy efficiency. It's about home comfort. It's about peace of mind. It's about time to call Isaac. Right now, get a Lennox air conditioner installed with no payments and no interest for 12 months, plus up to $1,500 in rebates. Invest in your home. Invest in comfort. Visit isaacheating.com today.
Joe Roback ha estado hablando de Flower City Riviera, fundado por un veterano y su hijo Zach. Greg Sedgwick es ese veterano. No solo ha brindado las mejores reparaciones y servicio al cliente, sino Greg ha visto a su hijo crecer como profesional. Recuerda, Flower City Collision para tus reparaciones de colisión. Visítalos en flowercitycollision.com.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the WYSL stations.
All right, we're back in with Next Steps and Peter Vasquez.
Welcome.
Are you not hearing your headphones?
The intro just started.
No.
Welcome back to the Next Step Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is Peter Vasquez. Aquí mimito otra vez. Lorraine, thank you for calling the Next Step Show.
You're welcome. I've had to cut my remarks in my own line, so to make it as short as I can. We were hurt the most. Trump's side, the Make America Great Again was hurt the most because Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, according to Mark Levin, were going to present actual proof of discrepancies in votes in two different states, and they were inviting other senators to do the same, and it only would have taken a few days. And that's why what Pence refused to help with that effort, which was a perfectly honest legal effort. And so we were hurt the most by the riots because that never happened. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, I don't hear that argument very often, but why would we spoil our one chance there to have people take another look at their state and get, the real story? And I'd like to say a lot more, but I hear you have another caller soon. So
I do, Lorraine, and I appreciate that. And we're going to address that here in a second. Let me take this other call. Thank you very much. We have Dave from Rochester.
Hey, Dave, what's going on?
Yeah, she's right. There's just two words to describe that riot or so whatever, Ray Epps, and we'll leave it at that. And then I've got, as an accountant, I've got to say a couple of things real quick about this case. First of all, in all the years of accounting, I've never seen an account expense listed as to porn stars. It's a legal expense. It went to an attorney. There's no other way to classify it, so I don't know what they're thinking. And the other thing what do you call it when somebody says, pay me some money or I'm going to say this about you? It's extortion?
Yeah, sounds like it to me.
My opinion. What do you think?
I think
don't know
we
why
agree.
they don't countersue.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a little late for a countersuit, but no, it all depends on the fact patterns, Dave. But if it was put that way, yeah, I would say that's extortion.
Absolutely.
Good luck, getting
Keith.
Getting them to prosecute that in New York State.
Yeah. Anyways, Dave, I appreciate your call. We're going to address that too. But Keith, welcome to the Next Step Show.
I agree completely with Dave. Trump handled that badly. He should have immediately turned Stormy Daniels over to the law, and then he should have been a man and gone before the American people and said, look, I messed up. I had an affair. His wife is a good woman. She would have understood. But I fully back Trump, but he's not the brightest bulb in the drawer. I want to say quickly, for decades, Republicans and conservatives don't fight back like the Democrats do. We have to learn how to fight like they do. You mentioned Hillary and the server running up to the 2016 election. Our people were yelling, lock her up, lock her up. Trump becomes president. He backs down, doesn't want to set precedent by going after someone in the previous administration. If he had gone after her, she would have been convicted. The Democrats would have no soapbox to stand on now, years later, and now it's our side who's being made to look the bad guys. Trump said it this morning. They're fascist. The Democrats are fascist, and the Republicans have got to start using that word against the Democrats. They are fascist, and in closing, the moniker for Biden should be Police State Joe. Everyone on our side, Police State Joe. He's fascist. This has all come out of the White House. They've coordinated in all of these cases. They brought up officials from Georgia and Florida down there. This is all being done at the behest of Biden, and it's got to stop. Our people have to fight back like the Dems do, or we'll never make any headway. We have to be as tough as they are, ruthless. They're in for the power. We have to go in and smash them hard. Thank you. Bye.
Absolutely, Keith. I appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget, the only reason why Hocus Pocus became the governor was because we had a governor that had 7 claims of sexual harassment that just, poof, disappeared as well.
Well, they were settled.
Yeah, they were paid out.
And guess where the money came from, folks?
Crazy. So, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I think what's really important out of this whole thing is that we learn something and not learn just how corrupt and the extents that these people would go to transform this country into something that it isn't, right? Into something that it wasn't meant to be. So with that, let's talk about why we're seeing these things, or at least this is what I see, ladies and gentlemen. 346-3000. I see a situation that truly defines absolute power, or the term absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? That's attributed, by the way, to the 19th century British politician and historian Lord Acton, who famously stated that power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Is that not true? Do we not see that? So listen.
Well, it's human nature, right?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when you look at it from a historical perspective, check this out. Ancient Rome, right? When ancient Rome transitioned from a Roman Republic to the Roman Empire, that marked the shift to centralized power. And what are they trying to do in this country? They're trying to centralize power.
Well, this is human experience and human history. Is governments inevitably evolve, or I should say devolve, from representative rights of the individuals to authoritarianism. Yeah. It's just the way it goes. And also, it's another reflection of human nature, unfortunately, because, we are fallen people. ever since the Garden of Eden. And so we tend to do bad stuff to each other. And our founding fathers realized these failings and these weaknesses and constructed this brilliant governmental system, which has survived for
Rich Greece,
notwithstanding the fact that the Democrats are trying to disassemble it right now and go in the direction of corruption and dissolution.
So you said to Democrats, but can I point something out real quick? Remember, not that long ago, it was those in the Death to America countries that said, we will destroy you within. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, but the Democrats are. The Democrats are in the vanguard, right?
They are, and I think they're at the lead of that, and we'll show how, because absolute power corrupts. Rich from Greece, thank you for calling, sir.
Yes, just wanted to see if you guys heard the rumor about Trump being put in Jeffrey Epstein's cell if he is incarcerated.
No, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, I heard that, and they're going to put him on suicide watch or something like that.
Yeah, let's hopefully go a step at a time. Maybe something will intervene between now and July, but no, I don't think they're going to kill Donald Trump in the manner of Jeffrey Epstein. Although, Rich, I've got to say, and I certainly pray that this is not the case. I think that if the Democrats get desperate enough, I think Trump's life could be in danger.
Oh, yeah. I think it's in danger now, to be honest. Rich, thank you so much for giving us a call, sir. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, we'll be right back after a couple of minutes, but I want to talk a little bit more about this absolute power corrupts and why people do it. We'll be right back right here con La Voz de Libertad to Conservative New Yorker on the WYSL Studios.
The way I always do. How was I to know she was with the Russians too?
In the Rochester and Finger Lakes region, one name stands above all others for real estate appraisal and advice.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
This full-service real estate appraisal company can appraise and advise on purchase and sales decisions, mortgage finance feasibility, estate, matrimonial, partnership buyouts, litigation, and more for any type of property, both residential and commercial. Ryan Murphy was founded almost 40 years ago. All of our highly trained staff members have at least 20 years of experience. All our appraisers are either New York State certified general or residential real estate appraisers.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
Start here. RYNNEMurphy.com.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
Baseball, hot dogs, and the American flag. They're all part of the rich fabric that makes our country great. Show your American spirit by purchasing your flag from the Stars and Stripes flag store today. When you do, you are supporting critically needed services for local veterans at the Veterans Outreach Center. Let's show our veterans that we care by placing our nation's symbol on the porch of every house in our community. The Stars and Stripes flag store, 783 South Avenue.
Now that the good weather's back, you'll want to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape, whether it's for the daily commute or that vacation you're planning. For quality, affordable vehicle service, rely on Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge Road. Rock Auto has what your car, truck, or SUV
Gary Stout
oil change, brake service, suspension, alignments, exhaust, air conditioning, and tires. Check their Google reviews as one of Rochester's best for customer satisfaction. Rock Auto Service, 1132 West Ridge, just east of Mount Reed, 434-5010.
Next Steps with Peter Vasquez on the WYSL stations.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Telling me I got to beware.
Yes. Next Steps, proudly brought to you by Ryan Murphy and Associates, and that's real estate appraisal firm in Rochester, residential and commercial. Rock Auto Service, Westridge Road, and and also SadwickForCongress.com. Again, Peter.
Thank you, senor. Thank you mucho, mucho, mucho. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, all this is happening while they're trying to take your guns and your Second Amendment and your First Amendment. And according to Biden, because these amendments are irrelevant to him, right? He says that they're not really absolute. It includes your 13th Amendment, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Gary Stout, thank you for calling the show, hermano.
Hey, Peter. Hi, Bob.
Hey.
Interesting day today, huh?
Very much so. Yeah.
Well, here's the way I look at it. We've been watching for the last few years the deep state or the leftist or the tyrants, however you want to classify them and whoever you want to throw into that category, unveil themselves a little bit at a time. They showed people that they had power over your job, over your medical decisions, if you were willing to go along with the dictates, I guess. If you wanted to keep your job or you wanted to travel for a while, you got a taste of having to comply with government regulations. No law, just regulations made by people like Andrew Cuomo and other wannabe tyrants. And then, we saw what they did to the police departments, and we saw what they've done to the military. And the one thing that we always had in the back of our mind was the court system, that we could get a fair shake from the court system. And yesterday, if you took time to read the actual instructions that the jury was given, where they could actually just pick from 3 different possible charges. They didn't have to all agree on those charges, but if they thought that Trump had done something else that was related to this bookkeeping discrepancy, then they could convict him. So that was just a way for them to say, it doesn't matter if you're guilty or innocent. If we want you, we'll take you out. Now, the other side of that was last night on a lot of different live chat channels, people were coming on and saying, I've never donated to a campaign before in my life, and I just sent Trump $10 or $20. It was all over the place. So I think they've underestimated the backbone of the American people.
Hey, Gary, I don't know if you caught his press conference that he was doing at 11:30, but Trump informed all of us that since the conviction, 12 hours ago or whatever it was, $39 million. Is
that the amount?
Yeah.
$39 million. So
yeah. Well, his site crashed. The donation site crashed right after the jury or the verdict was announced. So, we've been trying to wake people up with publicizing the problems with the voting system. Certainly, the Second Amendment is under all-out attack, but that's because the World Economic Forum wants this one world government, and they know they can't do it with well-armed American citizens that aren't going to give up their firearms.
No.
And that's the state we're at now. And they just threw the gauntlet down yesterday and said, we don't care what the Constitution says. We're going to do what we want. We heard that from Kathy Hochul after the CCIA was, she passed that in the middle of the night. And it's just, you got to wake up, people. What you're watching is what's happening. Like Luis Martinez is a perfect example. I wish he would have time to call in and just remind people of, hey, we've seen this play before. This is nothing new. It's just the first time they've gone to this extent in this country. They tried it in the 60s with the Black Panthers and the Weather Underground, but they weren't ready yet. And now they think they're ready, but I think they jumped too soon because people are waking up just in time to turn this around. But it means 85, 90% have to go out and vote, so there's nothing they can do to overcome. And then once we get people in besides the crew that's there now, we can start fixing these things. But it is going to definitely be we the people that get up and do it.
And we have to. And we have to because we care about this country. Not because we care just about Trump or we care about Peter Vasquez and the county clerk or whatever. We have to because we care about God, country, family, and a way of life that is proven, for at least more than a few centuries or a couple centuries that works. And it works for the people. Gary, I so appreciate your call, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I just throw something, another log on the fire here real quick? And by the way, I am talking to you gun owners. I am talking to concealed carry permit holders and people who have long guns. You have got to register and get out and vote. We can't have the usual parade of excuses this fall. Oh, well, I'm afraid of a registry. Oh, I'm afraid that, they'll come and get my guns. They're on the way to get your guns already, buddy.
And seriously on the way, Bob.
Yeah.
Like their cars are loaded.
They're not fooling around about this. So you have got to get out there and vote and take 5 friends with you. And we're going to be harping on this on the station, between now and then. You've heard the scope commercials. You guys who are bow hunters, they're going to come for those too.
Yep. Well, anything that poses any kind of danger to them as they're coming to take the rest of our freedoms. And that's a fact. And we've seen it. Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin's rule, right? Characterized by purges, forced labor camps, COVID camps, and widespread surveillance. Just saying, did we not just talk about that recently? All in the nature of good stuff, right? We're doing what we can. Nazi, isn't that the way Adolf Hitler became? Wasn't he all great and hunky-dory for everybody? And the next thing you knew, he's gas chambering and burning Jews.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. These things happen very, very quickly. And it happened that way in Germany.
Yeah, very quickly.
The Reichstag fire, and next thing you know, he's El Presidente, except in German.
I'll tell you, as the county clerk, and I know I keep harping on this, but check it out. This is where you need any county in Rochester, your county clerk, the individuals that processes those pistol permits. You need to demand that they bring those services out to the community and educate on it. Without the political ideology. But here, Joe Jeepers, here, Bob, I want to mention a little bit, right? Because the reasons why people go into these severe extents to maintain their power, right? Fear of retribution, loss of privileges, meaning that, hey, you lose the race, the new person comes in and finds all this corruption that you weren't able to hide. But you see, one of the most important leading ones that drive people to this is ideological commitment. Kind of like we have here in New York State, where we've got a governor that says, be my apostles, or another governor before her that says, people that don't believe like I do, inclusivity and equality, right? Even though what he mentioned was all family values, constitutional values don't have a place in the state. Right? Those are the kind of ideological commitments. Now, some of you may wonder and say, well, wait a minute. How is it that all these people that are in office, regardless of their party affiliation, is on board with all this stuff? Well, there's different ways to maintain power, right? And check it out. One of them, right, is the manipulation of elections. I'm not going to get into that right now deeper because check this out. Silent opposition, political opponents that marginalize, that imprison, and even assassinate, whether it's an assassination with a bullet in somebody's head or the like, or in a character assassination like they're doing to Trump, right? Because now they're going to carry the title on him that says, I think I saw it in a Times article this morning, felon President Donald Trump or something along those lines.
Yeah,
that's going to be a narrative, right? Legal manipulations.
You notice, though, that he's been twice impeached when he was in office. Yeah. And the Democrats have not used that term, impeached former President Donald Trump, because people don't like it. So that may also be the case with the felon term.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, they use things like legal manipulation where laws are changed and shifted. And this is what's happening now. We are seeing unfold in this free country of the only free country on this planet, right? We're watching unfold a very, one of our governing bodies using another one to kind of do away with political foes. We see that only in places like Russia. What the heck is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? But you know it's real because
it's communism. That's what's going on here.
And remember, we included the words "under God we trust" as a result. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, I could talk for hours and hours and hours more. But listen, say this with me, because now is the time for all of us to be leaders. Leadership is the beacon that guides me, for it is through selfless service that I illuminate the way for others to find their own greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, be a leader, be a leader, be a leader. Y nunca te olvides, la voz de libertad, tu conservative New Yorker, aquí en the WSL stations, siempre te amamos.
No me busques, te lo pido. Reconoce que el amor